going on, everyone? I'm heading north again after a few days down in my shop replenishing stock for the Canterbury Renaissance Fair. It's always a great event for me, so yeah. Anyways, politics and religion, right? Two subjects you just don't talk about, right? Especially when you're going to an event where people just want to kick back, relax, and have fun, right? So here I am, fuming with anger about all the travesties that are going on in the world, and I'm supposed to go to this event and have fun. So let's see if I can get some of the anger out. Gosh. Well, the Epstein client list still has not been released, and now it sounds like Trump is trying to, blame it on Obama and the Clintons, which is just a distraction. It's just furthering the left-right divide. The trajectory this country is on is that they're pushing for a civil war, and if one group of pedophiles can accuse the other group of pedophiles of being pedophiles and vice versa, then that's just gonna fuel the fires, and there should be a bipartisan effort to rid the land of pedophiles, but not if we keep only listening and playing politics, playing this two-party system. The two-party system, which is actually just a uniparty. Yeah. And that makes me think of the coming religious conflict that is facing our world. That's been brewing in the Middle East for a long time. It's really ancient if you want to go back that far, but I was talking with some people at the fair the other night, and this person was very convinced that Christianity had the rightful claim over Jerusalem, and was even oddly referencing that movie Kingdom of Heaven, which, if you watch the movie, the main character makes a brilliant speech at the end, saying something to the effect of, which is more holy, the wall, the mosque, or the sepulchre? Basically saying, and then he says, who has claim? No one has claim. All have claim, right? Which basically means that you shouldn't be trying to impose religion on anyone, and that these three Abrahamic religions need to get along and share the land. But the thing is the three of these religions, they all claim to worship the one true God. And this concept, the one true God, is inherently divisive. It is inherently going to cause conflict. If you go around saying, there is only one true God, it's going to cause everyone else who doesn't believe in that God to, go away from you, to shy away from you. And especially if you're trying to impose impose that religion on other people, I mean, that's just going to start a conflict. And it has, time and time again. And the solution is not to become an atheist, not to become a Satanist, and reject religion, or reject spirituality, I should say. Religion is another matter. Religion literally means to tie, to thwart from forward progress. It's a box for the mind. It's a box that for people who aren't creative to put their faith in. And if you're not in the box with them, then they're not going to trust you as much. They want you in the box with them. And the box is also very symbolic of these religions because they all go back to this concept of Metatronics, Metatron's cube. If you flat pack a cross, it fits if you flat pack a box, it turns into a cross. It's got 6 sides. They all fold out into a cross pattern. The Jewish faith, they worship the hexagram, which is a 2-dimensional rendering of a cube. And the Muslims, they worship the Kaaba. All of this is inverted Saturnian symbolism. It is the dark side of Saturn. There is a positive side of Saturn, but the dark side of Saturn, which is authority, it is the man being the gatekeeper of all knowledge, being the master of time, and being the angel of death. So these 3 traditions, they all ultimately go back to this inverted Saturn worship. And they all claim to worship the one true God. And there have been various traditions throughout history who have labeled this as the demiurge. This insane creator god, this jealous god who just needs more people to worship it. And it should make you think, like, if you are an all-powerful being, why do you need these ants down here on Earth worshiping you? Doesn't make any sense. If you were truly all-powerful, if you were truly an empowered being, you don't care what anyone thinks of you. But it's an energy harvest. That's what's really going on. And over the millennia, the indigenous peoples who had a more organic version of spirituality have been persecuted, conquered, enslaved. I mean, Christianity, you know, they like to think that they're so much more civilized than the Vikings or the Northmen, right? And growing up, I always heard about Lindisfarne, the raid on the monastery there, how that was like this travesty that sparked the Viking Age. The Vikings just came out of the blue and decided to sack this monastery, and that began the Viking raids throughout Britain. But what they never told me in school, and in most of the medieval books I would read back then, was about what happened 11 years prior to that, which was the holy or unholy Roman Empire's incursion into Germany, or the land of the Saxons then. And there was a Saxon rebellion, which was defeated, but then Charlemagne's terms were convert or die. And the Saxons refused when they were 4,500 of them were put to death. 11 years prior to Lindisfarne, which would be more than enough time for word to spread throughout Scandinavia about what the Christians' real intentions were. Today, the same kind of thing is happening with Islam going into Europe. I actually just heard the other day about an Irish politician warning Ireland against the rise of paganism, if you can believe that. Warning against the traditions of their ancestors, that this will lead to some kind of radicalization when they have radical religious groups running rampant in their country, like all across Europe. No, the thing about paganism is it's very much akin to libertarianism. If the Abrahamic traditions were, they're like the two-party system. They're like Democrat and Republican. They're three faces of the same coin, so to speak. But paganism is not on the coin at all. It's like, okay, we got to get away from this paradigm. And to go even farther, animism would be akin to anarchism. It's a decentralized form of spirituality. You recognize the energy present in everything, not just other people, but in the plants and the trees and the animals, and even in the rocks and the metals. Everything is alive, everything is conscious. that kind of understanding that will truly foster peace throughout the land. That if I am harming you, then I'm harming myself. I don't need any middleman, no priest, no rabbi, no mullah giving me a backdoor to God. Cut out the middleman. But the plans have been laid for a third world war. They were written about a long time ago by Albert Pike, who, based on my research, was very much an agent of the Bavarian Illuminati, which is a very nefarious group that is at the origins of communism. But Albert Pike wrote a letter to Giuseppe Mazzini, who was the founder of Young Italy, a communist youth group in Italy in the 1800s. And in the letter, he was outlining the plans for 3 world wars. And they have and are transpiring exactly how he wrote. He even mentions like Zionism and Nazism in the letter, which is rather profound given the time he wrote at. But so the First World War, he said, would be about weakening the Tsar of Russia and turning Russia into a communist stronghold, an atheistic communist stronghold. And at the same time, getting the powers of Europe to go to war against each other. And then this would lead to the Second World War, which be about Nazism versus communism. But now, the Third World War, what he said in the letter was to provoke Christianity against the Islamic world. And also something about unleashing the atheists on the world, that origin of savagery. Something about that. But the provocation of Christianity against Islam, I mean, it's cloaked in secular terms these days, but the unconscious impulse within the West is that the West is fighting for Christianity. And the Islamic world is very much still the Islamic world. It is still a theocracy. They aren't very secular. They know what this war is about. They know it's a unholy war, right? It's a crusade. It's only people in the West who are laboring, who might still be laboring under a delusion that it's not some kind of holy war. But this is why it's so important to return to a more ancient path of spirituality. The pagan, animistic traditions of all of our ancestors. I don't care where you were born, if you go back far enough, there is a potent wellspring of spirituality that you can tap into. I promise you. Alright, I think I've ranted enough. Take care, everyone. I'll see you on the other side.